Hi, Dr. Bob Flower. This is Monday, February 18th, and it's our new achievement forum. I hope you enjoy what we're going to be sharing with you today. This comes with 30 hard, uh, dramatic years of research and development, and lots of insights and lots of travels from all over the world. So sit back and relax, but pay attention because this can really make a big difference in your life. All right, today we're going to talk about the concept in the achievement sciences that we call the Great Restrictors. Now, what I've done is I've looked at things that prevent people from achieving, right, from reaching their potential. What factors interrupt potential and its development? And I've called those things the Great Restrictors. Okay? Now, basically, there are four. Now, there are more, and they have other names than what you see here, but fundamentally, these are the four that keep coming up the most, and when you take everything and reduce them down to their base component, they pretty much relate to these four. Okay? The first one, of course, is our good old friend fear. It's incredible, remarkable to me how people are so afraid to try things, do things, say things, commit to things because of fear. Different types of fear, whether it's fear of disassociation, people may not like me, or people may think I'm stupid, or things like this. But fear is one of the greatest restrictors to achieving our potential. Okay? The second is ego. And by ego, I mean overly prideful. Ego is a good thing. You need to have a good vision of yourself, a good posture. But this is where your ego is dominating in your personality, in your life, okay? And this can prevent you from doing a lot of things that you may want to do, but you can't do because this is the factor that's preventing you. For instance, the other day, I was with somebody, and we were actually playing golf in Arizona, and he said, "You look a little tired." And I said, "Yeah." I said, I had a Zumba class this morning. I said, and I should have never have gone out and played golf after I go to these Zumba classes. So he says, "Oh God," he says, I would never go." He says, I'd be embarrassed to be in a Zumba class." And I said to him, "Well," I said, "I can't let my ego get in the way of what I know is good for me. And I don't see anything wrong with a guy working out with 24 women." So anyway, that's it. You get the idea. You know what I'm talking about. Ego. I'm sure we all have those moments. Okay, you can't tell me anything. Ignorance. I mean, this is probably as powerful as fear, maybe even a little bit more so. Okay, because we tend to think without thinking, and which means that we're just simply responding to habit, and we just process the same thing in the same ways. Right? The more we know, the more awareness we have, the more we can identify things in our lives and in our environment, the better off we're going to be, the greater our ability to achieve, the greater our ability to get the junk out of our lives and get into the thing that needs to be done. And many times it's a matter of we don't know how to do it. So ignorance is a very big factor, and it's something that whenever we're trying to engage something, we've got to remember it's not just a matter of gut feel, or it sounds good, or it looks good. There's got to be a tremendous amount of research and investigation and questioning that goes into even every common everyday things. Okay. The last is something that I find quite often is self-deception, and this arises when people know what the fact is or the truth or what have you, but they kid themselves. They don't want to bring the subject up. They don't want to cause conflict. They don't want to be the one in the crowd that's the lonely voice that would be condemned for what they're saying. So they go along with the crowd, or they go along with the concept being put out there, or just fooling yourself. All right, that's basically what self-deception is, and this happens quite a bit with people who have a low opinion of themselves in some fashion. So. And so we understand this is something that could be practiced by even successful people, because in one area they are successful and they don't deceive themselves, such as, let's say, in business. But when it comes to something else, say an athletic endeavor or a social environment, they kid themselves as to who they are or what they are or what's going on. So basically, here are four factors that severely restrict people from achieving their potential. And when you look at something in your life that maybe perhaps you're trying to achieve, I'm sure you're going to see 1, 2, 3, or all four of these factors at work. And by working on these factors, we can then open the door to achievement, all right? And to put it into an everyday reality, the reason why I am so much against political correctness is, it lies here in the Great Restrictors. You know, people are afraid to hear things about themselves, their culture, or what have you. They're overly prideful, okay, in what their culture is or what they believe in. Ignorance as to the fact that, in this respect, that people are going to have comments about us, regardless of how good we are. There's always going to be somebody who's going to have a comment, because that's human nature. That's the way people are. And then we're going to deceive ourselves into saying, well, this is politically correct, and I should go along this because that's what the mainstream says. Well, it's not, because in things, political correctness is a form of ignorance and fear. Right? It's a fear of their ego being attacked, being hurt. Instead, and the reason for that is, which we'll get into in another session, is because we tend to take things too personal, right? Instead of impersonal. If somebody hurls a slur at us, what I teach people, and I've taught myself and my family, is that you don't take it personal. That's when you be very impersonal about it, and you look at it to see what the validity of the argument is. And if the argument is valid, then you must deal with it internally and build yourself up to the point where you can resist and reject that that fault that lies within. So a lot of times what I'll say to people is that other people are your messenger. They're telling you something about yourself. And if in fact many of these politically correct issues are true, but they're hurtful, it's not going to kill you. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you a better person, and you're going to be able to achieve. Because telling a person, for instance, a teenager that they're doing well in school, in high school, let's say, and they're failing, is certainly not going to help them in college, and it's not going to help them in the real world when they go out there to get a job. As many people today, and I can tell you being in business all my life, this is what's happening with our employment force. These people are not qualified. Oh yes, they have their high school diplomas, they have their college degrees, and in some cases they even have their masters, but they're not qualified because they were led to believe that there's no such thing as you know, No Child Left Behind, or you know, one of these programs that just pushes you through. Instead of raising your standards up, they bring the overall standards down to a level that's acceptable. So that's what I'm saying, and always open to debate. Okay, this is something that's been very helpful to me and my family, and I hope you enjoy it. And next week we're going to have another interesting theorem from the achievement sciences from our achievement forum. Have a good week and stay warm.